So I don't really do this whole YouTube thing that often, but I've been so frustrated lately. I figured it was a good way to get some stuff off my chest, mostly about work. And what I want to talk about is just how hard it is to get a job and all the baloney you got to deal with from management nowadays and things like that. Fortunately, I already have a job, but I'm still looking for something with more hours, which is a whole nother thing in and of itself. But we'll get to that. Well, basically, the main thing I want to talk about right now is all these fake job applications I've been signing up for, and all this baloney I've had to deal with just looking for a job. Because I've like applied to a bunch of places, and then I'd later find out that they weren't actually hiring. Like, for instance, this one place, uh, I went to I applied to Costco, and their website said it later, but I found out the hard way because I saw a hiring sign like at their store, right? I was shopping with family, and so I called them and I filled out an application, and I call back later and I ask for an update on the status of the application, and they tell me, oh well, basically. We're not actually hiring. When we say we're hiring, we mean that we're just storing your application for 6 months in case someone quits. So, that really pissed me off because I pretty much have no chance of actually getting hired. It's dependent on somebody quitting. They're not actually hiring. It's just a big waste of time. And I think stuff like that should be illegal, honestly. And this other time, I applied to this other place, this Dollar Tree. They also had a hiring sign in the front. So, I applied, I went online, applied to the location, I called in, and I asked them, I said, okay, well, can I get an update on my application? And they said, oh, the hiring sign in the front? Oh, when we put that there, we meant for other locations, which is just flat out retarded. Like, why are you going to have a hiring sign where you're not hiring? Like, I don't see a hiring sign and think, oh, well, I would sure love to work 10 miles away from here. No, I see a hiring sign and I think, oh, wow, maybe I'll hire. This is a nice location. Maybe I'll apply. This is a convenient place to work at. But yeah, stuff like that, I have no idea why they do it. I've heard different things. I've heard some people say, "Oh, well, they always try to fake looking like they're hiring to look like they're always growing." And, no matter what the reason is, I feel like it's just such a detriment to people actually looking for work that it should be illegal. I think there should be consequences for lying about stuff like this. And another thing about hours, things like that, because at my job right now, the whole reason I'm looking for another job is because I don't get enough hours at work, and I was kind of given a blatantly false reason why. So basically, I don't want to say what exactly I do, not because it's illegal or anything. I just don't like sharing too much. But basically, I go to my boss and I say, "Hey, can I get some more hours?" And basically, they say, "Oh, well, um, we can't give you more hours. We'll see what we can do." They said they'll see what they can do. They always dangle it in front of you when you ask, and then they never just give you a definitive no. And then later on, I hear talk. I hear talk a few times actually here and there where they're like, "Oh, we're so short-handed. We can only have like one person per shift or whatever at this location," which is one of the another reasons that I was frustrated because I was trained on having a partner basically. Like during training, they gave me the assumption I would have a partner, but then they just sent me on my own pretty much, which doubled the workload and made a lot of things way more inconvenient. So, then they're like, "Oh, we're really short-handed. That's why we only have one person everywhere." It's like, no, that's baloney because I've been asking for more hours. If you really wanted to, you could put me with somebody and I could be their partner and we could both split the load. But it's pretty obvious that the real reason they don't hire people, as much as would, you know, make the work a lot easier if two people were on shift is because of the money. Wherever the money's coming from, they figure, oh, well, we can just save if we just have like a skeleton crew of one guy per area instead of, what I was trained on. And I have a feeling that's what a lot of these other places are doing too. So like maybe they technically have spots open, but they don't actually plan on hiring them because they think it's a waste of money or something. But yeah, it's just real frustrating having to deal with all this dishonesty from management. Getting baloney like, oh well, we're just so short-handed. It's like, well, put me in there. I've been asking for a while, and they always dangle it in front of me. Like I said before, they're always like, oh well, we'll see what we can do, maybe, because they always want to dangle it in front of you. They don't want you to realize that looking for something else is a blatantly better option. And so while I'm looking for all these jobs and dealing with like false applications and things like that, thankfully I actually find another place and a actual person talks to me, which is so refreshing. That's another thing I'm frustrated with, all the online applications. Because like with online applications, you don't actually even know if a person is evaluating you, right? Like if you do an online application, they could just be feeding it into an AI. The AI could see like one wrong word or whatever and throw the whole thing out. Anything it doesn't like, it'll just throw it out. And they could just be like a big meat grinder of applications because the AI or whatever they're doing just isn't accepting any applications. There's no one actually real evaluating it. And I also hate all these stupid little tests they do. Like this other place I applied for, they're like, "Oh well, you gotta record yourself and describe your personality in this little video." It's like, screw that. I'm not doing that. You can't even give me the time of day to actually, evaluate me in person with questions. Like if I record a video, I assume that you're just feeding it into an AI so that it can tell you if I'm a good fit or not, which is very unlikely because I assume AI is like really specific on the type of worker it wants. And, on top of that, you want me to record a video of myself. I don't trust what you're going to do with that. I mean, I know it's not like a huge deal to some people, but still, it's like if you're not going to give me the time of day, why should I bother? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just frustrated with all these fake hiring ads and the online stuff and even stuff from my own boss, my own managers and things like that. My I have a friend who actually had a manager who did him really dirty, right? And like they promised him overtime. They said, "Oh, well, if you work this super awful garbage schedule where you're like going graveyard shift and just like scrambling it around, daytime graveyard, all around messing up his sleep schedule." They're like, "Oh, well, if you do this, we'll give you overtime that you want." So, he does it, and then like at the tail end, like the final day that would count as overtime, they're like, "Oh, we got to pull you aside. Um, yeah, you're not working today." And he asks them why, and they don't even tell him. They're just like, "Oh, well, you just can't." And stuff like that, it really pisses me off. And there's not much we can do about it, unfortunately, you know. So, yeah. Um, what else was there? I think there was another friend. Oh, there was another friend that had something like that, but I'm not even looking for like a profession job, right? Like I'm not even looking for something with a degree. I hear my friends with degrees are actually having a way harder time finding a job. Like they can't even get anything back, never hear back, and it seems really demoralizing. I'm glad I never had any faith in college. Like maybe it might still work for some people, but it definitely wouldn't work for me. So I'm glad I never believed in it. Um, I was made to go, but like I'm glad that I never had any false hope in it. But yeah, it's pretty tough out there just finding a job. It's not like the old days where you could just walk in and they'd interview you, and if you had basic brain function, they could teach you the ropes and stick you in there. No, now they want all this hyper specific qualifications, even for simple stuff. And yeah, it just sucks. Hopefully, I find something better soon because I can't be doing these piddly little micro hours pretty much on my current job, and yeah, let me know if you guys have had to deal with anything like bad managers or crappy fake hiring signs or anything like that, because I'm interested to see if it's just me or if it's actually as common as I suspect it is. Anyway, that's about it. Bye.